Now let's turn to verses 4 and 5 in chapter 4. And before we move into that text, I want to just draw your attention to the picture on the screen and of the king in the center and the people all around him and what they might be doing. Come to Bethel and sin, to Gilgal and sin all the more. Each morning bring your sacrifices, every third day your tithes. Burn leavened bread as a thanksgiving sacrifice. Proclaim publicly your voluntary offerings. For you so love to do, Israelites, oracle of the Lord. In looking at this text, it might be helpful first to think about what Bethel and Gilgal were. We know both places were places of worship for the people. We know that Bethel was a royal sanctuary in the northern kingdom, a very popular place for people to go and worship. And this is where Amos did his prophesying, probably because he'd have a large audience to listen to him. We know less about Gilgal. In fact, we know so little, we don't even know exactly where it falls on the map. So what might be the message here to look at in this particular text? It seems from this text that all the people are being addressed, not just the wealthy elite that we seem to have from the first part of chapter 4. This is a message that Amos is delivering to everyone. We also can take a look at and see that Amos seems to have a mocking tone as he's talking about the worship practices of the people. Why might he be mocking the people and their worship? John J. Collins in the Catholic Study Bible talks about how worship without justice is an affront to God, that the people were required to think about justice and righteousness in their community and to provide that, and that if they are instead kind of preoccupied or distracted by elaborate worship practices, then they were not doing what the Lord wanted, which was to provide just treatment of everyone in the kingdom. A key point to think about from this particular part of the text, Jeremiah states that Israel has failed in 3 ways. First, the wealthy of Israel live a life of luxury from violence upon the weak. And we saw that theme a little bit in the first part of chapter 4. He also states that the leaders abrogate justice through bribery. It's documented that the people in the northern kingdom, the powerful elite, were using the justice system to make money. And they would make money typically off of the backs of the poor. And the third point, which I think is most clear in this text, is the people's trust in elaborate worship doesn't promote justice, and instead leads them to a false sense of security. So again, this idea that they are so consumed with elaborate worship and elaborate religious services that they fail to realize that the Lord really wants justice and fairness and righteousness in the kingdom. And the people are not following that. They're not providing that. And so they can do all they want in worship practices, but they're not pleasing the Lord by providing justice in their kingdom.